Next question. PQ Limited, a company newly commencing business in the year 2018, has undermentioned projected P&L account. Sales is given to us 2,10,000. Cost of goods sold is given 1,53,000. Gross profit is 57,000. Administration expenses 14,000. Selling expenses are 13,000. Total of this two is 27,000. It is deducted from 57,000. So profit before tax is 30,000. Income tax provision 10,000. Profit after tax is 20,000. Cost of goods sold, that is this, has been arrived at as under. So they are providing the explanation how this 1,53,000 is calculated. Material consumption 84,000. Wages and manufacturing expenses 60 to 500. Depreciation 23,500. Total of this three is 1,70,000. Stock of finished goods 10% of the goods produced not yet sold. So 10% of 1,70,000 is 17,000. So this is what we understand as COGS. It is 1,53,000. The figures given above relate only to finished goods and not to WIP. Goods equal to 15% of the year's production in terms of physical units will be in process on an average requiring full material but only 40% of other expenses. The company believes in keeping material equal to, highlight the portion, 2 months consumption in the stock. All expenses will be paid 1 month in advance. Suppliers of the material will extend 1.5 months credit. Average payment period is given. Sales will be 20% for cash and the rest at 2 months credit. 70% of the income tax will be paid in advance in quarterly installments. Company wishes to keep rupees 8,000 in cash. 10% has to be added to the estimated figure for unforeseen contingencies. Prepare an estimate of the working capital, that is the question. All workings should form part of your answer. I request all of you to go through the question and then we'll discuss how to do it. My question to all of you is, please write answer in the chat box. Whether information is given about a new company or information is provided to us for an existing company. That is my first question. We understand that over here the question is providing the information about a new company. So when it is new company, there are 4 steps in which we do answer. Step number 1, WIP. Step number 1, 2, finished goods. Step number 3, cash cost of the sales. And 4th, working capital. Please write an answer of the question. In this question, information is given about a new company. So we will calculate answer in following sequence. 1. WIP valuation. Second, finished goods valuation. Third, cash cost of sales. And fourth, working capital. I want you to write in the chat box what is the WIP valuation in this example. Giving some explanation to you by taking some hypothetical values. Suppose during the year the company produced 10,000 number of units. I assume like that. I want you to write in the chat box what would be the number of units which will be in process. What would be the number of units that would be in process? Please write answer in the chat box. Dear students, we understand that say it is 1500. How 1500? It is 15% of the year's production. The language of the question speaks like this, that goods equal to 15% of the year's production in terms of the physical units will be in process on an average requiring full material but only 40% of other expenses. So it has been clearly provided that say the 15% of the year's production will be required, will be there in form of closing stock. Now my second question to all of you is, listen to my question carefully, that what would be total cost when 1500 number of units, 1500 is what just I have explained to you, fully completed. We know that say of course say they are partially completed right now, so it is WIP. However, when it would be fully completed, at that time what would be its cost? That is my question. So friends, over here we can say something like this. See, this 84,000 rupees is the cost in respect of 10,000 number of units. The figures given above relate only to finished goods and not to WIP. So what will happen? It is 84,000 into 15 percentage. 64,000, 62,500 into 15 percentage. 23,500 into 15 percentage. So this cost is incurred in respect of 10,000 number of units. So what is the cost for 1500? Like that say we make the computation of the cost. This is the cost when these units will be fully completed. So 84,000 into 15 percentage, that comes to 12,600. 62,500 into 15 percentage, that is 9375. 23,500 into 0.15, that is 3525. So 12,600 plus 9375 plus 3525, that comes to 25,500. This is the answer. However, we understand that this answer is of course not correct answer. Why? Because these units are not fully completed, so it is WIP. Okay, so to what extent it is completed? See, they have provided to us like this. They have provided that say goods equal to 15% of the year's production in terms of the physical units will be in process on an average requiring full material. So the completion stage of the material is 1 and only 40% of other expenses, means the conversion cost is 40%. So what will happen over here? Listen carefully. Completion stage of raw material is 1. Completion stage of the conversion cost, that is wages and overhead, is 50%. So we understand that's over here 62,500 into 0.15 into zero point 0.4, that is 3750. Then 23,500 into 0.15 into 0.40. So it is 1410. So 12,600 plus 3750 plus 1410. That comes to 17760. This is what say we understand is the valuation of the WIP normally. Normally. However, we know that say we want to know the valuation only for the bank loan. So what we have to do? We are required to eliminate the depreciation. So what will happen? 12,600 plus 3750. So the final answer would be 16350. This is the valuation of the WIP for the purpose of working capital requirement. I request all of you to write down answer. Step number 1. Calculation of WIP valuation. In that write down direct material consumption. Direct material consumption in that 84,000 into 0.15 into 1. Why? Because completion stage is 100%. And see, nowhere I am using that 10,000 number of units which I had spoken, because that was only to give you some related points so that you can relate the things. Then direct wages and manufacturing expenses. 62,500 into 0.15 into 0.4. That is 3750. So 12,600 plus 3750 is 16350. This is step number 1. I want you to give answer in the chat box. Answer for step number 2. Calculation of finished goods valuation. Please write down answer in the chat box. Friends, answer for the second question is very simple. It is already provided to us in the question 17,000. However, that 17,000 is 10% of 1,70,000. And that 1,70,000 includes depreciation of 23,500. And depreciation is a non-cash item. So basically what happens is we have to exclude this 23,500. We'll make total of this to 146,500 and of that 10% is 14650. That is the way we are required to do the answer. So I request all of you to write down answer. Finished goods valuation. It is consisting of two values. One is the direct material 84,000 into 10 percentage, that comes to 8,400. Direct wages and manufacturing expenses, 62,500 into 10 percentage, 6250, and the total is 14650. I request you to write down answer. Step number 3 is cash cost of the sales. Calculation of cash cost of sales. In that, we will work out the answer like this. I request all of you to write down answer along with me. The first is the direct material consumption. Dear students, over here it is 84,000 rupees in respect of the units which is finished, and in process the number of units for that, so the material consumption 12,600, that comes to 96,600. Next is direct wages and manufacturing expenses. In that again it is 62,500 plus, we understand it's a certain component from the units which are in the process, 3750. So 62,500 plus 3750, 66250. Okay. Now we understand that at this point of time, depreciation is ignored. We add opening WIP, that is 0, and we will deduct the closing WIP. For that, again we already have done valuation, 16350. So this is the cost of goods produced. It will be found as 96,600 plus 66250 minus 16350, 146,500. Then again we will add opening finished goods, that is 0 because it is the first year. Less closing finished goods. The closing finished goods valuation is 14650. That gives us cost of goods sold. It is 14650 will be deducted, and we have 131,850. Okay. Now we will add administration expenses. 14,000. Again we will add selling expenses. it is 13,000. After adding both of them, we have cash cost of goods sold. It will be calculated as total of all of them. That is 131850 plus 14,000 plus 13,000. So 158850. This is the way cash cost of the goods sold will be calculated. Please write an answer. In step number 4, compute the working capital requirement on your own. Step number 4, calculation of working capital requirement. Let us start calculating the answer, dear students. Column number 1, particulars. Column number 2, answer. We start with the stock of raw material. I request all of you to write down answer along with me. As far as the stock of raw material is concerned, it will be calculated by using a formula as raw material consumption divided by 12 months into raw material holding period. Dear students, over here, the raw material consumption is 96,600 divided by 12 months into, the question is providing the information that the company believes in keeping material equals to 2 months of the consumption in stock. So into 2. So we understand it is 96,600 into 2 divided by 12. That comes to 16100. That is the way the stock of WIP is the first thing. Stock of raw material. Next is stock of WIP. As far as the WIP stock is concerned, it is 16350. Next is stock of finished goods. Again, for that, say we already have done the valuation. It is 14650. Next is the debtors. As far as the debtors are concerned, it will be calculated as cash cost of credit sales divided by 12 months into average collection period. Dear students, it has been given to us this time that 20% of the sales is for cash. So what will happen, we understand that whatever the cash cost of the goods sold, of that 20% is on cash. So it is 1,58,815 into 0.8 divided by 12. Into average collection period, that is 2 months. This is the way we are required to do answer. Into 0.8 is an important point. So 1,58,815 into 0.8 into 2 divided by 12. Answer is 21180. Then directly we have been provided with the cash balance. The cash balance information is given to us as 8,000. This time there is one new information. The new information is given to us is with respect to the advance tax. The question is providing the information this time that we are having set the income tax liability of rupees 10,000. Further, it has been given to us that 70% of the income tax will be paid in advance. It has been given to us further in quarterly installments. What does that mean? Let me explain that to you, say in a small explanation like this. Let us say that say it is the 1st of April 2025 to 31st of March 2026. Dear students, for this year, we understand that say we have to file the income tax return during 2026 and 27. So 2026-27 is considered to be the assessment year, and say 2025-26 is considered to be the previous year. Okay, this is what the basic thing. So during the year, whatever you have earned, for that you have to pay tax in 26-27. The answer is no. Income tax department has said that say you are required to make the advance tax of the tax payment on 15th of June, on 15th of September, on 15th of December, and 15th of March. These dates are of year 2025 and this is of 2026. So you are required to make the payment of the advance tax in 4 installments. There is a percentage of the tax which is supposed to be paid at this point of time, at this point of time, at this point of time, and by this time you have to pay 100% of the tax which is likely to be paid during the year. So basically you are required to make an estimation at each point of time. That's what would be my that is total tax liability. Of that, so the proportionate amount is required to be paid by you. If at all there is like the shortfall, then in that case you have to pay interest. All those things I am not discussing in detail. The question is providing that say the 70% of income tax will be paid in advance. Okay, what is the income tax amount? Income tax amount is 10,000. What is 70% of 10,000? 7,000. So over here we understand we will be having advance payment of the tax. It is 10,000 into 70%. That comes to 7,000. This is what we understand. That is the way we are required to show the advance tax. Next. So almost all the current assets are considered. One more thing is there. The question is providing the information that all expenses will be paid 1 month in advance. So we will have this time prepaid expenses. It is administration expenses plus selling expenses plus direct wages and manufacturing expenses divided by 12 months into time period. Amount of administration expenses is given to us as 14, this is 13, and this is 66250. 14,000 plus 13,000 plus 66250 divided by 12 months into 1 month. That is the way we require to compute so the amount of advance tax payment. 14, 13, 66250 divided by 12 into 1. So it is 7771. Next is income tax provision. It is an amount of 10,000. Sometimes students are having a question that, sir, is it fine if at all I write income tax provision only 3,000 and I don't write advance 6? Yes, it is valid. You may write the income tax provision net of the advance 6. Next is the creditors for raw material. In that case, so the numerator is annual credit purchases divided by 12 months into average payment period. Now, what is the purchase of the entire year? It is equal to closing stock plus consumption minus opening divided by 12 months into average payment period. Now, what is the closing stock? Here is the closing stock, an amount of 16100 plus consumption. What is the consumption? Consumption is 96,600. Opening is 0 divided by 12 months into average payment period. Average payment period is 1.5 month. Because the question is providing over here, the suppliers of the material extend 1.5 months credit. So it will be 16100 plus 96,600 minus 0, that does not make a sense, divided by 12 into 1.5, that is 14088. Okay, so what we will do, friends, from like all the current assets, current liabilities will be deducted to make the calculation of the working capital before margin for contingencies. You can see that, so the question is providing this time 10% has to be added to the estimated figure for unforeseen contingencies. So 10% is required to be added to the value that say we find just to provide contingencies. Means we are not sure that say our estimates will be accurate, so we just want to keep a provision that say we are having say certain excess funds available that can be converted into working capital at any point of time. So finally we will have the working capital requirement calculation to be made. 16100 plus 16350 plus 14650 21180 8000 7000 777 10,000 14088. So it is 51,421. So this is working capital I'm sorry, this 7771 is positive. So 66,963. Working capital requirement before margin for contingencies. Add margin for contingencies. It is 66,963 into 10 percentage. 6,696.3. This is the total working capital requirement. So plus 6696.30. So it comes to 73,659.3. This is the final answer. So let us have understanding how to make the calculation of the answer. The revision of the entire question. Basically, it is say new company. So we are making the calculation of the answer in these four steps. WIP valuation is a new point that say we had in this question. Finished goods normally we have to ignore depreciation in both. Cash cost of the sales is again very simple. In that also we have to ignore depreciation. Step number 4, working capital. Stock of raw material as usually that we do. WIP finished goods that we have. In data you just be careful because this time the entire sales is not on the credit. 20% of the sales is on cash. Cash balance simple 8,000. Advance X is a new point. And this time information is given that all expenses are paid 1 month in advance. Tax provision, creditors for raw material, the way we do it normally. Again there is a new point, that is margin for contingencies. So we compute the working capital requirement before margin for contingencies. To that margin is added to compute the total working capital requirement. I request all of you to write down answer.